10 years ago, I walked away from promising career in finance because Vanessa looked me in the eyes and said, I can't save my family's company without you. I believe we were building our future together. Coalhaven Group was drowning in debt. I spent sleepless nights studying accounts, negotiating with investors, and creating a recovery plan. Vanessa stood before cameras and accepted awards while I worked quietly behind closed doors. People trust you, I often told her. You should remain the face of the company. And what about you? She once asked. I don't need attention. I know what we built. Only Vanessa, her father Richard, and our lawyer, Arthur Bell, knew the truth about my authority within the company. I never imagined that keeping it private would one day make me look powerless. At the 10th anniversary gala, I stood beneath the golden lights of the hotel ballroom and watched employees celebrate the company we had saved. Then the doors opened. Vanessa entered with Adrian Cross. Her hand was locked around his. The room slowly fell silent. I approached them. Vanessa, what is this? She pulled her hand away from Adrian only after everyone had seen it. We need to talk, she said. Then talk. Adrian adjusted his jacket and smiled. This might not be the right place. You walked in holding my wife's hand. You chose the place. Vanessa's expression hardened. Adrian is now the company's executive director, she announced. I promoted him last week. You promoted him without telling me? I don't need your permission for every decision. Several guests raised their phones. Whispers moved across the ballroom. Adrian looked at me with open amusement. Vanessa needs someone who understands leadership. I stared at him. You think I don't? Vanessa stepped between us. Stop embarrassing yourself. Her words struck harder than Adrian's smile. You want to discuss embarrassment? I asked, after everything I gave this company? She gave a cold laugh. What exactly did you give? For 10 years, you've lived comfortably because of my success. The whispers grew louder. I searched her face for any sign that this was an act. You know that isn't true. What everyone knows, she said, raising her voice, is that you're my dependent husband. I carried you long enough. My chest tightened. Around us stood employees whose salaries I had protected, and investors I had personally convinced to stay. None of them knew. I lowered my voice. Tell me what is really happening. I want a divorce. For a moment, every sound disappeared. Adrian smiled beside her, while people recorded the end of my marriage. 10 years, I whispered, and this is how you chose to tell me? You gave me no other choice. No, this was a choice. You made it. Vanessa turned toward security. Remove him. 2 guards approached me with apologetic expressions. I looked around the hotel I had saved, then back at the woman for whom I had sacrificed my name, career, and pride. Before the guards led me away, I stepped closer to her. Vanessa, did you read every page of our original partnership agreement? Her confident expression changed for a fraction of a second. Then my phone vibrated. Arthur had sent one message. Do not sign anything. She has just broken the control clause. The cold night air hit my face as the hotel doors closed behind me. Before I could reach the street, Maya hurried down the steps. I saw everything, she said. Go back inside. Don't let Vanessa do this to you. I'm not going back. She lied about you in front of everyone. And walking back in there angry will only give them another performance to record. Maya stared at me. You're still protecting her. I looked through the glass doors. Vanessa stood beside Adrian as if 10 years of marriage had already disappeared. No, I said quietly. I'm trying to protect what is left of me. At Maya's apartment, she placed a cup of coffee in front of me. My hands remained wrapped around my silent phone. She treated your loyalty like weakness. Maya said, how long are you going to pretend this started tonight? Her question forced me to face memories I had buried. 10 years earlier, Coalhaven had been close to bankruptcy. Vanessa had sat beside me and held both my hands. If we lose the hotels, my father loses everything, she had said. You're the only person who can help us. I have savings, but not enough. You still own your apartment. I had sold it because I believe her family's future was our future. Every dollar went into Coalhaven. After that, I left my career and spent years repairing the company. I thought sacrifice proved I loved her. I told Maya, "You gave up your home, your career, and your name," she replied. "What did she give up for you?" I had no answer. A knock sounded at the door. Arthur entered carrying a thick document folder. His face was tense. "I brought the original partnership agreement," he said. I opened it. Vanessa acted like I owned nothing. "Your investment was never a gift. It purchased 48% of Coalhaven Group." Maya leaned forward. "Then how could she remove him?" "She couldn't. Not legally." Arthur pointed to another section. "Richard also signed an emergency voting proxy. It gives you temporary control if Vanessa commits fraud, conceals major debt, or removes you publicly without board approval." I looked up. "Why did you tell me not to sign anything?" "Because I found something." He placed several loan documents on the table. "Adrian convinced Vanessa to borrow millions against 3 hotels," he said. The board was not given the full details. My stomach tightened. How were these approved? Arthur slid one page toward me. My signature appeared at the bottom. "I never signed this." "I know." Maya's voice turned sharp. "Then Vanessa forged his name? His signature was used on documents he never saw." Arthur replied carefully. "That requires an investigation." I stared at the signature. Even now, part of me wanted to protect the woman I had loved. An investigation could destroy her reputation and everything she had built. Arthur watched me. "If we act, this becomes public. And if we don't," I asked, "you may lose your shares and the company may lose 3 hotels." Maya touched my arm. "Enduring betrayal isn't love." Her words broke through the last excuse I had left. I picked up my phone and called Arthur, though he sat across from me. "Activate the agreement." He held my gaze, then entered the authorization. "It's active," he said, "but Vanessa has already scheduled an emergency board meeting to erase your ownership before sunrise." The emergency meeting had already begun when I opened the boardroom doors. Vanessa stopped speaking. Adrian stood beside her, one hand resting on the table. Every board member turned toward me. "What is he doing here?" one of them asked. Vanessa recovered quickly. "Ignore him. My husband has no official position in this company." "Then you won't mind if I stay," I said. Her eyes narrowed. "Leave before I call security again." Arthur entered behind me and placed several folders on the table. "I advised everyone to hear him first," he said. Adrian gave a short laugh. "This is a board meeting, not a divorce argument." Arthur opened the first folder. "This is the original partnership agreement. His investment purchased 48% of Coalhaven Group." Shock moved across the room. Vanessa gripped the back of her chair. "That agreement doesn't give him control." "Not by itself," Arthur replied. He presented my financial records, followed by another signed document. "This emergency voting proxy was granted by Richard Cole. It becomes active if major debt is concealed, fraud is suspected, or an owner is removed publicly without board approval." A board member studied the signature. "Is this genuine?" "It is," Arthur said, "until the financial investigation is complete." He controls the deciding vote. For years, I had allowed Vanessa to speak for both of us. That morning, I pulled out a chair and sat across from her. "The meeting can continue now." Adrian leaned toward me. "You're hiding behind technicalities because your wife doesn't love you anymore." The words reached the wound Vanessa had opened hours earlier. My fingers tightened beneath the table, but I refused to let my pain make the decision. "This meeting is about company money," I said, "not my marriage." "Don't pretend this isn't punishment," he replied. "I'm freezing the sale of Coalhaven's most profitable hotel. I'm also suspending your access to every company financial account." His smile vanished. "You can't do that." "I just did." After the meeting, Evelyn Cole approached me in the empty hallway. Her elegant appearance remained perfect, but fear showed in her eyes. "You need to withdraw this investigation," she said. "Why?" "Our family name has survived too much. If these accusations become public, everything Richard built will be stained. Someone used my signature to borrow millions. Vanessa made mistakes. That does not mean you should destroy her." I held her gaze. I'll withdraw the investigation on one condition. Vanessa provides every loan document and explains why my signature is on papers I never saw. Evelyn's silence answered before Vanessa appeared behind her. I won't hand you anything, Vanessa said. Then the investigation continues. This is revenge because I left you. No, you humiliated me because you thought I had no power. This is me using the authority I always had. Her face hardened. You want to see me beg? I want the truth. A chair scraped behind us. Daniel Reed, the company's financial controller, stood near the boardroom table. His face was pale, and his hand shook as he approached me. I need to give you something, he whispered. Vanessa turned sharply. Daniel, go back to your office. He flinched but slipped a small flash drive into my palm. Look at the transfer records, he said. I couldn't keep hiding them. Arthur opened the files on a boardroom computer. The records showed that Adrian had redirected the borrowed millions into a private development company. Then I saw Vanessa's approval attached to every transfer. My chest went cold. One audio file remained. I pressed play and heard my wife's voice clearly. Once the anniversary is over, he'll be gone, and the shares will finally be ours. Vanessa's recorded words kept playing in my mind. The shares will finally be ours. Until that moment, I had told myself Adrian had manipulated her. I wanted to believe she had been confused, pressured, or deceived. The recording destroyed that final excuse. She had chosen this. I found her alone in the boardroom after Arthur and Daniel left. Tell me the truth, I said, just once after 10 years. She folded her arms. You heard the recording. I want to hear you explain it. What difference would that make? It would show me whether any part of our marriage was real. For a moment, pain crossed her face. Then pride covered it again. I was tired, she said. Every event was the same. People asked what my husband did, and I had to introduce you as the quiet man standing behind me. The quiet man who saved your company. Nobody saw that. You did. She looked away. Adrian walked into a room, and powerful people noticed him. They respected him. Beside him, I felt like I was building something important. And beside me, I felt reminded of everything my family almost lost. Her answer cut deeply, but also freed me from a question that had haunted me for years. You wanted my shares. I said, you never used your authority. I didn't think you had the courage to fight me. So you used my money, my work, and my signature. You chose to remain invisible. For the first time, I stopped wondering why I had not been enough. You were ashamed of me because you needed strangers to admire your life. I said, that shame belongs to you, Vanessa. It was never mine. I walked away before she could answer. Later, Lena Brooks spread the financial records across the boardroom table. Her movements were quick and exact. Feelings will not change these numbers, she said when Vanessa questioned her findings. Either the transfers were legal or they were not. What did you find? I asked. Lena pointed at 2 loan agreements. Adrian promised the same hotel assets to 2 different lenders. Arthur leaned closer. Both loans are secured by the same properties? Yes. When either lender discovers this, the company will face immediate action. A video call appeared on the screen. Richard sat upright despite the stroke that had forced him into retirement. His voice was slower than before, but his eyes remained sharp. I signed the voting proxy, he said. Vanessa had entered quietly behind us. She stopped when she heard him. Why would you give him control? She demanded. Richard's expression hardened. Because I never trusted Adrian. You trusted my husband over your own daughter? I trusted the man who saved this company while you collected praise for it. She stepped toward the screen. You planned this behind my back. I feared your pride would destroy everything, he replied. And I helped create that pride. I taught you to value status more than judgment. Vanessa's face twisted with hurt. So now you're both against me. This is not about sides, I said. It has always been about sides. She pulled out her phone and walked away. Minutes later, Arthur showed me the statement she had posted publicly. Vanessa accused me of abusing her family's trust and stealing control of their business. The story spread online before we could respond. Within hours, angry protesters surrounded the hotel, shouting my name while cameras filled the entrance. Then Lena lowered her phone and looked at me. The company's largest lender saw Vanessa's accusation, she said. They are demanding immediate repayment. By morning, Vanessa's accusation had turned the hotel into a battlefield. Employees gathered in frightened groups while investors filled my phone with demands. Resign before you destroy what remains. One investor told me, I didn't create this debt, but the public believes you stole the company. When the call ended, Maya stood across from me with tired eyes. Is Coalhaven worth this? She asked. Vanessa has already taken 10 years from you. How much more will you let this company take? If I walk away, hundreds of employees could lose their jobs. And if you stay, she may destroy your life. Arthur suggested releasing Vanessa's recording. It would prove she had planned to remove me. But I shook my head. I won't publish a private conversation just to humiliate her. She didn't show you the same mercy, Maya said. This is not about becoming better at cruelty. I gathered the staff in the hotel ballroom. It was the same room where Vanessa had humiliated me. But now fear had replaced celebration. I owe all of you the truth. I helped manage Coalhaven's recovery, but I allowed my role to remain hidden. That silence gave others the power to rewrite the truth. Someone near the back called out, Are we getting paid? Yes, I will protect every salary while Lena completes the investigation. How can we trust you? Before I could answer, Samuel Price stepped forward. He had managed hotel operations through the company's worst years. I remember him working beside us, Samuel said. When we lacked staff, he carried luggage. When our wages were delayed, he stayed until every payment was approved. He never asked for credit. The room grew quiet. He didn't steal this company, Samuel continued. He helped keep it alive. Employees began recording his words. Within hours, clips of his statement spread online, and the anger outside the hotel started changing into questions. Daniel found me after the meeting. His hand still trembled, but he no longer avoided my eyes. Adrian threatened me, he admitted. He said he would blame every illegal transfer on me if I spoke. Tell me everything and I'll arrange legal protection. What if the truth destroys Vanessa too? I can't promise who it will protect. I can only promise you won't face Adrian alone. Daniel nodded. With Lena's help, we examined the remaining transfer records. A large amount had been moved toward an account Adrian controlled. He's preparing to leave the country, Lena said, and he's taking the remaining money. Vanessa entered before we finished. Her face was pale. He told me we were building a future, she whispered. He was building an escape. I replied, You have to stop him. We will. She caught my arm, without exposing my involvement. I looked at the woman I had once trusted with everything. If investigators see those records, they'll ask why I approved the transfers, she said. You can still protect me. For one painful moment, I remembered every promise we had made. Then I thought of the employees waiting to learn whether their families would survive this disaster. If I hide your actions, innocent people will pay for them. After 10 years, you would choose strangers over me? No, I'm choosing the people you were willing to sacrifice. I gave the evidence to investigators. They reached the airport before Adrian's flight departed and stopped him at the gate. But moments before his arrest, he sent Vanessa a final set of documents. She opened them beside me and all color left her face. Every fraudulent loan carried her personal guarantee. Adrian's arrest became public before sunrise. By noon, every news report carried Vanessa's name beside his. The personal guarantees gave the lenders the right to pursue her fortune. Her carefully built image collapsed almost as quickly as the company accounts she had tried to hide. At the emergency board meeting, Vanessa sat alone. You approved transfers tied to fraudulent loans, a board member said. We have no choice. You always have a choice, she replied. The board is removing you as chief executive, effective immediately. Vanessa looked at me. Is this what you wanted? No, but it is what your choices cause. That evening, someone knocked on the door of the small apartment where I was staying. Maya opened it and found Vanessa in the hallway. You have 5 minutes, Maya said. Maya, I warned. My sister stepped aside. Fine, but I'm staying nearby. Vanessa entered and slowly looked around. My clothes fit inside one open suitcase. There were no paintings from our house, no expensive furniture, and none of the gifts we had collected during our marriage. You took nothing, she said. I took what belonged to me. Half that house belongs to you. I didn't want to fight over objects while the company was collapsing. She sat down and stared at her hands. I'm sorry. There was no audience and no camera. For the first time, her apology sounded quiet rather than calculated. What are you sorry for? I asked for humiliating you, for Adrian, for all of it. Why did you do it? Her eyes filled with tears. Because you were always calm. You solved problems I couldn't solve, then stood behind me while everyone praised me. Every time you succeeded quietly. It reminded me that Coalhaven's success was never mine alone. So you resented me for helping you? I resented how small I felt beside you. Adrian made me feel powerful. Adrian did not force you to forge my signature. She lowered her head. He didn't force you to walk into that gala holding his hand. I continued. And he didn't force you to humiliate me. I know, but the way she said it told me she still wanted part of the blame to belong elsewhere. She wiped her face. I need you to tell the investigators that you approved the loans. I stared at her. You came here to ask me to lie? If you confirm the signatures, I may avoid prison. And the company will lose its insurance protection. Hundreds of employees could lose their jobs. Please, I'm your wife. You asked for a divorce in front of everyone. Does that erase 10 years? No, but 10 years do not erase what you did. Maya stepped into the room. She looked ready to throw Vanessa out, but I raised my hand. I wrote a name and number on a piece of paper. This is an honest defense attorney. I said, you need legal help. Vanessa stared at the paper. You'll give me a lawyer, but not one sentence that could save me? I won't lie, but I won't leave you without help. Maya's anger softened. For once, she did not ask me to punish Vanessa more harshly. You're heartless, Vanessa whispered. No, I finally understand the difference between compassion and surrender. Love cannot require me to become guilty for your choices. She left in tears. My phone rang the moment the door closed. It was Arthur. Vanessa has requested a public settlement meeting, he said. Where? At Coalhaven. The same hotel where she humiliated you. Walking into the ballroom felt like stepping back into the worst night of my life. Employees filled one side of the room. Board members, lenders, journalists, and representatives of the Cole family sat across from them. Cameras followed me as I approached the same place where Vanessa had ended our marriage. She sat beside her attorney with her hands tightly folded. So this is it, she said. You finally get everything. I came to settle the company's future. You came to take Coalhaven. Arthur placed my documents on the table, but Vanessa kept watching me. Go ahead, she said. Force me into bankruptcy. Let everyone watch you enjoy my downfall. I faced the room. I am not here to destroy Coalhaven or claim it for myself. Whispers spread between the reporters. I opened a restructuring plan. I will convert part of my ownership into an employee trust. The recovered funds will be used to stabilize the hotels and protect jobs. Samuel stared at me. The employees will own part of the company? Yes. The people who kept these hotels running will have a real voice in their future. One lender raised a hand. And your temporary control? I will step down from permanent control once the company is financially safe. Vanessa's expression changed. You're giving away your power? I'm placing it where one person cannot abuse it. Richard appeared through a video call. His tired face filled the screen. My remaining shares will also enter the employee trust, he announced. Evelyn looked toward him. Richard, that ends a family's control. It must, he replied. We treated this company like a personal kingdom. Our employees paid for our pride. Vanessa remained silent. She had expected revenge, but I had no desire to steal her family's legacy. I only wanted to remove her ability to hurt others with it. She finally spoke. After everything I did, you're still saving the company? I'm saving the people who never betrayed me. Arthur then placed another document before her. Vanessa glanced at it. What is this? My divorce filing. Her eyes widened. I filed before you could submit the papers designed to take my shares. I said, you knew. I learned what you planned, and I stopped waiting for you to decide my future. Her attorney reviewed the page, then leaned toward her. Vanessa shook her head. Adrian arranged the loans. He moved the money. His records show your approvals, Arthur said. Daniel's testimony confirms that you knew about the transfers. He promised the investments would work. You still signed. I said, you're legally responsible for your choices. Her anger faded, leaving only exhaustion. Did 10 years mean nothing to you? The room became silent again, but this time I did not feel ashamed. I no longer needed her approval or the praise of anyone watching. They meant enough for me to say what we built, I said, but they do not mean enough for me to let you break me again. Vanessa lowered her eyes. One by one, the settlement documents were signed. When she reached the final page, her hand trembled. She signed her name, removed her wedding ring, and placed it in my palm. Her fingers closed mine around it. Then she looked into my eyes and asked the one question I never expected. If I had told the truth before the gala, would you have stayed? Vanessa's wedding ring felt cold in my hand. If you had told me the truth before the gala, I said, I might have stayed. Hope briefly entered her eyes. But you didn't tell me before you betrayed me. You told me after there were consequences. Those are not the same kind of honesty. Her gaze dropped to my closed hand. Is there anything I can do? You can take responsibility. Our divorce was finalized soon afterward. Vanessa cooperated with investigators and sold her luxury assets to repay part of the debt through a lawful settlement. She avoided prison, but she lost her position, her fortune, and the social influence she had protected at any cost. Maya asked me once, does it feel good to see her lose everything? No. After what she did to you, her pain doesn't return the years I gave her. Vanessa's real punishment was not losing her money. It was living without the admiration she had valued above our marriage. I refused to celebrate that pain. I had already spent too long building my life around her choices. It was time to rebuild my own identity. The employee trust stabilized the hotels and protected the staff. Daniel became a protected witness after giving investigators his full testimony. Samuel took charge of daily operations, earning the authority he had already earned through years of loyalty. One afternoon, Maya placed a finance report in front of me. You corrected 3 mistakes without even trying, she said. Old habits. Maybe they shouldn't be old. You loved this work before Coalhaven consumed your life. I don't know who I am without that company or my marriage. She smiled. Then find out. Months later, I returned to the renovated hotel lobby. Sunlight poured to the tall windows. Employees welcomed guests without fear hanging over them. Samuel met me near a new plaque mounted on the wall. You should see this, he said. I read the names engraved across it. Every employee who had helped save Coalhaven was honored there. My name was not above theirs. Neither was Richard's or Vanessa's. This is exactly right, I said. Samuel looked surprised. You don't want recognition? For years, I thought being unseen made me weak. Now I know I don't need my name on a wall to understand my worth. A quiet voice came from behind me. You gave everyone a future. Vanessa stood near the entrance. Her clothes were simple, and no crowd followed her. Why are you here? I asked. To see what became of the company. She looked at the plaque. And to admit something I should have understood years ago. I waited. You gave everyone a future after I tried to take yours. There was no excuse in her voice this time. I forgive you, I said. Tears filled her eyes. Does that mean we can begin again? No. Forgiveness gives me peace. It does not rebuild trust. She nodded slowly. Regret had finally taught her what pride never could. Some damage could be accepted but not reversed. I left her beside the plaque and walked through the hotel doors. For the first time, being alone did not feel like abandonment. I had left behind the marriage, the humiliation, and my need to be recognized. Vanessa once believed my silence meant weakness. She had been wrong. I chose justice without cruelty, dignity without applause, and freedom without regret. The life ahead finally belonged to me.